Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful, hot day. Oof. But as per usual, God is merciful, and there is an awesome breeze blowing in the background. Now, I want to share a little bit from an unfamiliar book for most persons, and that is the book of Haggai. And in chapter 2, we have here they were getting ready to rebuild the temple and so on. God had brought the exiles out and they were building. And I want to zero in on verse number 5, where it says here, according to the word that I covenanted with you when you came out of Egypt, so my spirit remaineth among you. Fear not. Now, they had come out and they had gone into exile and all these different things, and now they were finally back. And God says, hey, listen, I know some of you may have remembered that I had gotten a covenant with you guys from since you came out of Egypt about, that you were going to prosper, etc. And he says, according to that, my covenant remained among you. Fear not. And then he goes further on and he says, down in verse number 9, the glory of this latter house shall be greater than the former, said the Lord of hosts. In this place I will give peace, said the Lord of hosts. Now, what was happening is that people were beginning, some of the older ones were looking and saying, like, hey, listen, you know what? From what we understand, this temple had been awesome, noised about all over the place. And then now the one that we're seeing doesn't seem that way. But he says, hey, listen, the glory of this house would be greater. He reminded them two important things. One, the fact that his covenant remains true regardless. They had gone through quite a lot of stuff, a lot of time had passed, but his covenant with them remained true. And I don't know who this is for, but I know for myself, I've been reminding myself, and God has been reminding me lately, that his covenant with me remains true. That years may have passed, but once God says something, once God laid out what he wants to do with your life, that is what is going to come through. There are times when years may pass and all sorts of other things may have come and gone in the mix, as we would want to say. And you're beginning to wonder, like, did God really say that? Did he really say that I was going to be the first one in my family to finish university or get a doctorate or a master's, or that I was going to break this curse of poverty that seemed to hang over my family? Or, did God really say that? Because it may not be looking that way at the moment. But he's reminding us that once he said something, he had covenanted with these people that he was going to prosper them. They were his special people. And in the same way, once God gives you his word, that's it. It's as if he is given a covenant. Once he says it, that's it. He says, my word will not return unto me void. It will accomplish that which I sent it for to do. And so once he spoke to you, whether he gave you a dream, whether he gave you a vision, whether you were 5, whether you were 2, hold on to that. Whether it was just when you first got saved and you had all these visions and so on that God gave you for what your life was going to turn out like. And I mean, this is a couple of years down the road and you're not seeing it looking that way. I want to remind you that God does not draw back on his word. He does not draw back on his covenant. So many times the enemy makes us think that, what we see in front of us isn't looking that way. But that is not the truth. Be reminded that God is not a liar. He keeps his promises, and his word that he has given to you will be manifested. It may not have been manifested in the time you thought it was, because sometimes there's other preparations besides what we know about. Sometimes he's preparing the people that need to be alongside you. Sometimes he's just simply preparing the place to receive your awesomeness. But that's how it is. That's what I want to remind you. His covenant remains, and the glory that you are going to see. You may have had good times in the past. Most of us know God doesn't leave you and your life is just tragedy after tragedy. There are moments when you see his awesomeness, and he's saying that what he has planned for your future, the things that he's about to unfold in your life, are even more awesome and more greater than what you've seen in the past. Just keep trusting, just keep believing. That's my word of encouragement to you. Have a awesome day, and remember, he loves you and I do too. Be blessed.